All right, everybody. I am Weller from Sentient Cow Games, and
I am Craig from Sentient Cow Games, and we have a special guest for the Cow Army today. His name is Mr. Todd McNeal. He is a painter of miniatures, and since 2012, Todd has been painting as toad painting for miniature enthusiasts around the world. During his time painting, Todd has picked up multiple major awards, including In-Show at Lock and Load, back-to-back Iron Painter victories, as well as a variety of other awards. And I'm humbled in your presence, Todd.
Yay!
I have tried to paint, and I am not that good. I'm okay. So,
it's all about the practice.
Well, thanks for being with us today, Todd. We really appreciate it, and
it's great being here. Yeah,
pick your brain on some stuff. So
yeah, we have a few questions for you. And first of all, thank you for doing this. Like Weller said, what made you want to start painting minis, Todd? Like, what brought you into that world?
Well, I was introduced around like 12 years old, when I was 12 years old, to Warhammer. And right away I wanted to have a fully painted army because, it looks beautiful on the table. Yes. 20 years later, I still don't have a fully painted army. Whatever, that's okay. I've painted a lot of other people's armies, that's for sure. Never my own, though. Never have the time or the willpower.
Do you have, I imagine you have a room just filled with minis, like just a glorious miniature room. Is it true?
I have a nice cabinet. I have like all my favorite Kingdom Death miniatures and like Malifaux and like all the nice ones, competition pieces I have, but not my armies. No, they're in big bags somewhere in the closet.
So that kind of leads into my second
display stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of games do you still play games, or are you just buried in minis all the time where you're painting other people's minis?
No, I like board games, war games, and computer games. Like some of my favorite board games are like Galaxy Truckers, Kingdom Death, expensive but great, and then The Village. Death, Village is a good classic.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, the standard stuff. I'm big into like War Machine, Malifaux, and Warhammer. Those are good games.
Cool. Yeah, looking over, I noticed a lot of Warhammer stuff on your website that you painted, and yeah, it's I can kind of see. Okay, that's how a lot of people get into it if they get into painting. Is okay. I'm getting into this, and yeah, I totally get what you're saying. I want to see that army painted on the table.
They have for the last 20, 30 years. They've consistently picked some of the best miniatures around.
Yeah,
and all cohesive, and it looks beautiful put together.
Yeah.
Definitely a big boy.
So what if you're going to talk to someone who's just getting into the hobby of painting minis, what's the first thing you tell the person, like advice wise? Like,
it really is about practice and perseverance. Like, I still pick up minis and like I don't like what I've done. Like it's you're never gonna shake that feeling. Like sometimes you're like, yes, it's good. Sometimes no, it's not great. But like you just gotta finish it. You gotta complete it, and like it just takes time. It just takes time.
Okay.
And also, I find it's more important to have like a better quality paint than paintbrushes. I use dirt cheap paintbrushes. You don't need a $30 brush.
Okay. No, that's great. So yeah, like any skill, practice makes perfect.
Yes.
So and you're going to see your improvement over the years, just like with anything else. If you're,
I still have some miniatures I've got like a decade ago, and they're terrible, but I still have them around.
But isn't that true with any like person who's really good at a craft or art? Is like they're never satisfied.
Yes.
I find that.
Well, I mean, it really depends on what you're looking for, right? If you're just like trying to look for painting an army and just have a nice painted army, you don't have to have the highest quality. That's the thing. It all depends what you're looking for. Like some people want to do like competitions, go to like, I don't know, Gen Con, if that's the thing anymore, but like, like the big painting competitions and like go there. Or you don't have to have a nice like, little tournament army you want. It's all you gotta figure out what you want. Because you're probably never gonna compete with the masters, but
Exactly.
Well, we're glad we're talking to one of them right now, so that's cool. So talking about getting into this again, like a little bit of a follow-up, because you were saying earlier, don't worry about getting like good brushes, like get good paint. So like, what kind of paint and brushes like do you use? And I know there are like some like sort of like starter sets that certain companies put out that give you like a variety of little paints. Like, are those like a good option for people to start with, or like what do you use? Like, what's like give the folks some advice.
I mean, starter sets are normally a good deal. They give you a bit of discount, and they give you a nice wide variety of color. The paints I use is P3. It's Private Pest paints. They're a nice, high quality, smooth, non-toxic paint. I'm a brush licker, so it's kind of important not to get poisoned by your paint. Um, and yeah, like some paints, um, these are very thin paints and smooth, so it takes a few more coats for the most part. But like they'll never come out lumpy. Like I've seen some other paints get out lumpy and stuff like that. These are like very nice and also very vibrant too.
Okay.
Because it gives you a nice cartoony look, right? And
yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like about a lot of your stuff too. Is very vibrant. Like a lot of people tend to paint stuff very dark, and
yes,
I choices with that.
What I always do is look at the miniature from arm's length, and like if you can't really see it, if it doesn't really pop out. It doesn't really look good because like most miniatures for arm's length, you're looking at an army, looking at board game, right? So it's always 3 feet away from you. And if you have a full army, full board game of dark stuff, it looks like just shadows, like silhouettes, right? So the bright colors help, make it stand out.
Yeah, that's what really, a lot of people painted our minis, and there were some good ones, but for yours, really, your style really captured our characters in our world perfectly. It just had that. Your stuff really popped, man. And let's take a little pause because Weller's going to put photos of them in here somewhere. So it's
yeah, I'll be putting photos of a bunch of your work up over this as
yeah. So like, look at home at this beautiful photo that we can't see yet, but you're seeing.
Well, another big thing is priming white because like most paint is translucent and it'll basically show up the back. Like, so if you have prime black, a lot of the black primer will show up no matter how many layers you do. And so if you do prime it white, it's going to have like nice reflection. It's basically all the saturation is going to come through.
Okay, that's interesting because most people I know, they either prime stuff gray or black. So that's
gray is not too bad, but it doesn't have the same vibrancy as like painting it for white.
Sure.
Because like there's a huge difference between taking like a black prime model and painting red on it. It'll look very dark, but you take like a white primer and you paint some red, it looks like a cherry, like a car, like a very vibrant like red car.
Got it.
There's a huge difference. I recommend people to try that out.
Cool.
No, Todd, were you a traditional painter or an artist in school? Did you?
Oh yeah, I like to draw with pencils and stuff like that. I didn't actually paint. Like I didn't paint on canvases until I found miniatures.
Gotcha.
But like, it really does help. It still kind of like translates because like you're still painting anatomy and stuff like that, like getting the curvature properly.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Let me ask you on that note. What was the hardest miniature in the Dulce line to paint?
Oh, it's the family.
Yeah,
they have.
I knew that.
That's what I thought.
That's my family. Yeah, they have a wide variety of textures and patterns and stuff like that. And then it's all those little like faces and guns and everything. It's hard to get the brush in there without like dabbing the paint where you've already finished. It's one of the problems I had.
You got I saw like the plaid on the shirts.
Yeah.
And, like the eyeballs, man. A lot of people can't do eyeballs. They look like they're going like googly eyes. Like you really like get in there. Now, are you using like a micro brush to get that?
No. I'm using these cheap like $3 brushes. Like it's a size 2. I find a lot of smaller brushes than size 2 don't have a fine enough tip. And so like they're good for like blending and stuff like that, like size 0s and size 1s, stuff like that. But I find the size 2 is like the perfect size tip. to go in and do the eyeballs and stuff like that. Eyeball really is for me most part is like 2 colors or just 2. It's like just do the black and then you do a little bit of white. I always like to put the white on one end, so you have like it's just like so it looks like the guy is looking left or right. I find people it looks weird when the miniature looks straightforward, so it gives them more like dynamic pose and stuff like that. So it's just really just simple, just like one little white dot on the black background, basically of the eye.
Cool.
And I'm assuming you're using like a magnifying glass, right?
No.
As you're doing this, are you using like a lit? You're not. Nope. This is your eyeballing all this yourself. Okay.
Yep. Pure organic.
You got better eyes than I do, son.
I think you're a league above us. There's like it's like going to take batting practice from like the best hitter in the Major League Baseball. Like, yeah, I can pick the bat up. I can hold it. You know,
Well, it's also about like having a steady hand too. Like always have your arms steady. Like I have this high armchairs, so basically I have my hands are always braced on the like either my desk or my chair, and like so you don't have to like freehand it. That my hands will shake a little bit, so you can always like have weird messed up eyeballs and facial stuff if you don't have it braced. And like brace it on your wrists is the most sturdiest place to do it.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If you remember, what was your favorite Dulce character to paint?
The cow. What was the name? Cow. Snippy Von Bell.
Cow.
It was interesting. It's kind of cute, right? She's
Nice.
It was a fun little experiment, especially with the little the hats and stuff, little cute touches.
Yeah. I love that the final version you did of that. You put texture on it, so it actually looks like you can see like the fur or whatever, like just a touch of that on the thing. It's great. I've never seen. I've seen other people paint our minis, and it's usually snippy, but I've never seen anybody do that with it. And that just really stood out to me. I thought it was so awesome.
Yeah, you go a little extra than I see people go as far as detail and realism into the paints, for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's important to go like what's going to be more noticeable, because like you can go realistic for a lot of things, and a lot of it will be like overlooked. You'll never really see it. So you want to go for like basically like, pick the things that are like stand out the most. Like a lot of like, so you don't need to do every single fur texture on the cow.
Mm-hmm.
But what's going to stand out the most is the highlights. Like the light's going to shine the most on, like I see a natural cow. So like along like the hard edges, you can do like some nice pure white little strands of fur, and it makes it pop. It'll still look like the miniature has fur texture, but you don't need to do every single strand of hair.
Makes sense.
Sure.
Let me ask you, Todd. So let's pretend like, okay, you just got the cow out of the box. You set it on the table. You're like, it's a 2-headed cow. Wow. What's the first thing you do to that miniature?
Since it's a very light miniature, like it's a white cow with a little bit of black, I prime white.
Prime white. Okay.
So very important step.
Come on, Craig. Haven't you been paying attention? Prime white.
No, but he says you don't always. Do you always prime white on everything that you do, or just?
For the most part, yes. Like unless I'm doing a lot of airbrushing, I'll prime black, because airbrush will build up a lot of layers, and it's fine for priming black. But for any kind of hand brushing, I always just do white. So then after that, I do a base coat of light gray on the cow.
Okay.
And then I'll actually shade it from there. I'll do like it's like very thin layers, basically like glazing it of like darker grays.
Okay.
So there's no texture at all. It's just trying to bring out all the anatomy of the cow. And then I'll go back over and just do a little bit of like fixing up with the base gray again. And then once that's done, then I'll bring out the pure white and start doing the highlights. Just do a couple just get this little fur texture going.
Okay.
And then any parts where I really didn't like, where I did the shading on the cow, I'll just take the black and I'll do the black spots, and I'll hide all the mistakes I did with the black patches on the cow. The same with battle damage, really, is like any kind of mistakes I do, I just battle damage it, little scratches, little whatever.
Smart.
Yeah.
And do you put a gloss or a protective coat?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I use I think it's a Tester's dull coat. Very good.
Okay.
Okay.
However, it will dull out metals. So what I like to do is I'll do base coat metal, do all the washes for it, and then once it's dull coated, I will go back and do all the highlights with silver or gold or whatever, and it gives a nice contrast.
Got it. So you've got matte areas, and then you've got areas that are a little
Yes.
glossier and shinier. That's a really cool way of doing it.
Yeah. As for
You're
the
getting me
cows,
excited, man. You're getting me excited. I'm gonna break him out and I'm gonna do a paint job. I think.
I mean, he's a great
pretty
way to
good.
do fur. Like if you trying to figure out how to do fur, I've done so much fur for competitions. I've done pigs and wolves and cows and stuff like that for competitions. It's
Wait till our second game. We have many furry creatures. Hollow Moon.
all of them. Cool.
So
how can
Todd,
people get a hold of you, Todd, if they want to make a commission or?
I have my website toadpainting.com as well as Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. I am unfortunately booked for almost 2 years right now.
Wow.
Excuse me. Did you say for 2 years?
Yes.
That is a great problem to have, my friend.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
But I'm always open for like teaching online and stuff like that. So I have a decent camera, so you can see how, all my little techniques if you want.
Yeah, we've watched some of your videos of painting some stuff, and they're fascinating. Like it's just like I'm just like go down a rabbit hole watching you, and I'm just like, oh my god, this is amazing. While Todd's got a bit of a backlog for commissions, if you do want to get a hold of him and get in line, you can do that via toadpainting.com. And you also said you're on Facebook too, so you can find him on Facebook
Yes.
as well. We hope that.
Do you do online tutorials, Todd? Ever? Would you do a Zoom like? If
Oh
somebody
yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
talk to you?
Teaching online or for classes for groups of people, I could definitely do that. I've done a few just like picture tutorials as well. I've done like a lava one, which was quite well received.
Nice. Okay. Just giving the fans some kind of outlet to you. They don't want to wait 2 whole years, but
Yeah.
they might have to.
Well, like Craig said, we do have some new stuff coming out, and we're planning on going back to Kickstarter in late January to do a second printing of our game as well as a bunch of expansions. And there's going to be some new minis.
Cool.
And here's a teaser of a big one we got. This is Uber Robotor.
It may not be that big.
It's not going to be this big, but
yeah,
this is one of the bad guys in one of our new expansion adventures called The Mystery of Mount Shasta. So this is going to be the big baddie you face at the end of that after you rescue the Sasquatches. So we'd love to see your paint job on that one, man.
Yeah, a lot more is coming. So if you thought a two-headed cow was weird, we're gonna top that, man. So get ready, Todd.
I'm always down for a challenge.
Cool, man.
Well, dude, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us. I feel like just talking to you has made me a better painter, and hopefully everybody watching. So and dude, you're the top of your game. I mean, we see a lot of miniature painters through cons, online. And brother, you are top 2, top 3 we've ever seen. So
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and if you guys want to check out more of Todd's work, go to www.toadpainting.com, and we'll leave a link to that and some other stuff down below here if you want to go check it out. Great stuff. And thank you very much, Todd, for sitting down with us today to just go over a little bit of this. And hope
you enjoyed it, Cow Army. You got to give a moo, Todd. Can I get a moo?
Moo.
Moo to you.
That was a very sarcastic moo, Todd, but that was a pretty good moo. It's a pretty good moo. So,
I think I'd make a very sarcastic cow.
This has been great. Cool. All right.
Great. I've been Weller. And This is
Yeah.
Craig, and thank you all for joining us today. Thank you very much, Todd, and take care. Well, I'll see you guys next time.